By KT?
No, not by this team.
By SPT, going for the classic double support?
Again, no.
I'm
sure you can work it out.
Avala, really good. Oh, by RPG with DSL?
That's what I'd like to see.
Well, RPG's going to be right next up. So I think maybe we're going to see a little bit of a surprise here and there. But back to this one, we see probably the exact same 4 bans. If it's a Maiev, then truly nothing out of the ordinary. Have we actually seen a single Diablo game today? I don't think we have, right?
Nope. He's been banned every single game. And as such, speaking of heroes who have been banned most games, not every single one, yeah, we should be seeing the Hammer. No, I was going to say Maiev.
It's so interesting, isn't it, right? There's a lot of heroes like that Sergeant Hammer, for example, like that Rainer, who always seem to make it through, who always, not always, but most of the time seem to get good results, but yet nobody bans them. Too high or too big is the fear of the Lord of Terror. Too big is the fear of Whitemane and Genji.
And there's Maiev. Yeah, so it's just immediate. Like, I don't like that. I really think that Maiev is more of a game changer than Hammer is. Hammer has 2-3 counters at this point. Maiev, she has counters, but sometimes the counters will just get wrecked before they can counter her.
Yeah, and the thing is, Maiev used to be such a comfort pick for SPT in the past when she wasn't always banned, or at least she wasn't banned that often. And you have a player that really plays her almost to perfection, and that is Soap. And I still remember, like it happened yesterday, when they played on Tomb of the Spider Queen against KT, actually. It now dawns on me. And they ended the game in below 10 minutes, right? That was just insane.
It was pretty rough. So yeah, I can see why. And KT last season actually were the first team to bring out a Hammer comp, really, and they wrecked with it as well. So I guess both these teams do understand the strength of the Sergeant Hammer. This is acceptable. Tyrael. I think we saw a draft similar to this before.
Yeah, I was going to say, so the reasoning behind that Tyrael ban, which looks a little ludicrous at first, is, of course, first of all, KT, they do not want to pick it themselves, right? They have another main tank in mind. So what do? They ban away the Tyrael from their opponents, because otherwise we might once again see this infamous Tyrael-Maiev combo, which proved to be so strong yesterday. The way you basically play it is you drop the Warden's Cage. As a follow-up, you drop the Sanctification, so now the Inuit team is pretty much more helpless than before. They can't even push you away, stun you away, damage you, and that proved to be super, super dangerous. Also, Tyrael is a classic counter to Malthael, right? You put the Sanctification down, and all of a sudden Malthael's AoE damage is not really coming into play anymore.
So we see more AoE damage coming in with the Kael'thas and the Leoric with that Skeletal Swing. So interesting. I mean, this is pretty... Once again, this is a lot of burst damage with no lockdown. They haven't picked their tank up yet. With Muradin and Garrosh still available, what will SPT pick? They need their tank too. They pick Neva. They pick the ETC.
They pick another Thrall, going for double melee assassin, if you will, plus an ETC on top of that. So Thrall can, of course, also fulfill that role as a soul laner pretty handsomely. So there goes the thought process behind that. ETC, the last time we saw the cow in action was next to Zeratul, right? When they dropped the Void Prison, and then you would have the follow-up with a stage dive. Let's see if it's going to be a mosh pit this time around. How many counters do we have in the enemy team? Not all too many. A Garrosh and a KT, and that's about it.
Yeah, Wim Buffett from Alex
yeah, maybe that one too,
but that requires to be in Dragon Queen, which is not always going to be the case.
Oh, trading a mosh pit for Dragon Queen is a fine trade.
He looks cheerful.
That's the question, right? Is that a cheerful giggle, or is that more of a surrendering giggle? Okay, we lost this draft, boys. But no, jokes aside, Timeless is always a good fella. He is probably very confident.
He seems lovely in general. But
did you get the chance to talk to him at the Eastern Clash?
Not in person, no, other than outside of the interview we had.
What do you remember what kind of question you had for him?
Yeah, I've got the page up. No, I don't. I will get the page up. There it is. He was subbing for
CE.
For CE, so let's find my CE notes. Yeah, this was there was the stuff about the Timeless trying to bring in the EU meta and stuff like that we mentioned yesterday.
When he got yelled at for playing European stuff in Chinese on the Chinese ladder.
I don't think I asked him about Johanna because I was tempted to, but like other people had questions as well.
Oh man, I'm not sure if I had met Timeless in person. I'm not sure if I could have contained myself without just screaming and trying to demand an autograph onto my Thrall Funko Pop figurine.
That would be cool. That would be a smart one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are heading into our first game of our 4th series of the day. And it is going to be SPT on the left. And they have Lucky, Melody C, Misaka, Soap, and ZZH.
All right, and on the flip side, on the opposing side, we see KT, Kudos top with TWT, Kiaru, Lotus, Timeless, and Bad, formerly known as Andre, who also used to be a sub for the one at the midseason brawl. So kind of a familiar face, kind of a diamond in the rough, a very talented player. And up to this point, he has not disappointed us.
Not yet, he hasn't. Let's see if they're what they can do with this. As SPT start off with a nice Memento coming in here for the Maiev. An interesting level 1 choice. I wouldn't have minded like the reduced cooldown on the pull-ins. Try and make some combos out of that.
Yeah, definitely true. Could have, you know, switched things up a little bit here. We see on a Pale Horse for Bad as well. Oh, and he is smelling the fishiness of this rotation. He knows that something's not right. So great map awareness by him. Usually if you look at the minimap and how a map is designed, where there is a shorter distance in between the lanes, that's usually where you would expect the gank to happen, right? So if you find yourself in your early games and you're playing the solo laner, or at least you're all by yourselves in a lane in the early game, always try to sort of anticipate as to where the enemy team might be rotating to. Speaking of Kiaru, though, in the case of Leoric, you don't even have to pay that much attention because one Wraith Walk should normally give you the safety you need.
Should indeed, and he is able to escape via that Wraith Walk. He does have to Fountain, though. As you can see, that health ticking up at the top of the screen. So this should be up already due to the low cooldown at the early stages of the game. Should be up in time for the next objective. But it means if he's ganked again, he might not be so lucky and might actually get forced out of lane.
Timeless is back on this Garrosh, by the way. We probably have to mention this very briefly as well. That is usually, or that is the hero that he originally impressed us with when he was first introduced to Time Flow, right? Which is almost already 2 seasons ago, 2 phases ago. But Timeless, speaking of in hope, we didn't bestow the caster curse upon him. Oh, he has given up. He knows that there's no way out of his misery.
He was trying to basically survive long enough for his E to come back off cooldown so he could try and toss someone and get a counter kill. Because he went for the defensive toss, tossing Misaka away from him with the Wrecking Ball to try and keep himself safe, but there were too many people attacking him.
Absolutely. Maybe he also waited for the towers to deal a little bit extra damage onto those pursuers, but
Raza healing.
Yeah, but as it is, unfortunately for him, he ended up being first blood. But yeah, Garrosh was that hero on which he originally caught our attention, right? When he started playing Time Flow, good times back in the days. Time Flow, of course, is unfortunately no more. And then he tried it a couple of times on RPG last phase, but it just wouldn't work out at all.
So now, Misaka helping clean up the lanes pretty quickly with that ETC. ETC pretty decent auto attack damage, which is why he's not terrible against mercenaries. Exactly. He's not terrible against mercs as he can just burn through those very quickly. Especially the Siege Giants. He can knock them into tower range, burn them down himself. That's why he actually sometimes gets used for wave clear, especially with that W build where he just power slides the lane and just blows it up.
Yeah, very true. I wonder which heroes actually have a higher auto attack damage than ETC. I think Leoric would be one of those. Stukov and Leoric. I think that might actually be the only two. Maybe Thrall. Hitting pretty hard as well.
Stitch's attack got buffed, but I don't think he's that high. No. Soap gets tossed in. In the meantime, Malthael has died across the map, and the Thrall goes down in exchange. 1-for-1.
Yeah, unfortunately, Lucky wasn't able to help him out there. By the way, Lucky on that Maiev, so that's the second melee assassin that we see him play. Yeah. I totally thought it would be Soap here, but looked like Soap is busy, of course, on that Leoric. So Lucky, once again, branching out his hero pool even more. Yesterday, we saw him in the Zeratul.
Yeah, this is true. Soap is on a SPT though. Sorry, on a wait. No, yes, wait. No, I blanked there. Yeah, but Leoric. Sorry, Leoric is on KT. Yes, there we go.
He's on Thrall.
So I derped while trying to point out your derp. Hooray! As the punch gets pulled in by KT.
All right, speaking of KT, they are actually in the driver's seat right now, securing themselves a lovely first Punisher. Now, mind you, the first Punisher is usually not going to get a whole lot done, especially if you defend cleanly like Lucky currently is. And KT isn't even trying to push with it because they are on their toes. They have to run and abandon this push, but look at the minimap. Leoric and Kalthas already in position to keep that experience flux going.
Is KT already moving into position as well, though, to also try and soak some experience. Misaka sees this. Phoenix is on the way. How much pressure are they going to put onto this? Maiev and Dekakane are on the way, but they're too far out. They decide not to try and invade this.
Yeah, ETC, of course, a lovely pick against that garage. There's a couple of heroes that fare particularly well against me, ETC being one of them, especially with that level 4 knockback sound, right? You have a longer range on that, so whenever Garage could be potentially in range to drop a combo onto a helpless target, he can just knock him back and stall out for the time being.
Nice knock up once again by Timeless, just gaining more stacks. He's doing a oh no, he's already stacked because there was poison damage on Misaka, so he's just getting a little bit of harassment, getting some scouting done. Nice dodge by Bad, as Soap is chasing him down. If these reinforcements weren't here, this would have been a terrible idea, but as such, Soap was trying to bait the turnaround. But yeah, didn't work out. Kiaru just casually walks away.
Sun King's Fury on the Kalthas, so the more the bombs are going to spread, the more damage they're going to deal onto their targets. So now more than usual even, Super Perfect Team will have to be in their tippy toes, not to stand too close to one another. Otherwise, you know, combine that with the Flame Strike, with that Phoenix, the Living Bombs might be the true killer.
I mean, if that was on the other side of a Maiev on the team, then I would say awesome. But in this case, you still might get it because everyone wants to group up around the people who are pulled together by the Maiev. So they might be able to get some pretty decent values with that.
That's interesting, right? You have raise a really solid point there. When you have that Warden's Cage, for example, and you lock people in, naturally, because you all want to focus on the same target, you're going to clump up eventually. So this could maybe then be the time for Kalthas to shine. So let's see. Level 10 is here. The Warden's Cage. No surprises up to this point. Now, are we going to see that mosh pit that we talked about earlier? Or are we going to see the good old stage dive here? Probably a Sundering as well. More of that. Stage dive it is. Misaka wants to add a little bit of slowing, a little bit of global soaking and pushing value as well. I'm super pumped to see this in action now.
They are looking pretty solid at the moment. With March of the Black King, Sundering Stage Dive, this is a very interesting talent game in terms of the heroics, with Malthael yet to pick his, though.
Preemptive gravity lapse here coming in from Lotus, because he was expecting Misaka on the ETC to maybe follow up on that tether from Lucky. But Misaka was just basically mind-gaming his opponents there. Nothing out of the ordinary happening up to this point. Both teams taking their fall in Shamans respectively, but SPT, I think they know exactly what's going on. They're posturing up for a very aggressive invasion.
They're moving on to Bad. Here's the Umbral Bind. Tormented Souls is dropped in response to this. Bad is in full retreat. Cleansing Flame keeps him alive, though, as EZH is getting a lot of damage on the backline from Kiaru, who has to march the Black King through this. It looks like SPT will take control of the cap, but now they need to leave. They've already lost Maiev. Misaka with a great power slide, trying to get a chance to escape, but a body box onto him. Take him down, and down goes ZZH too.
Yeah, ZZH is not going to make it alive. That double taunt was just amazing. Now, let's count the losses here. 3 heroes in a mercenary camp that doesn't do anything for SPT. Whereas KT, they lost the mercenary camp, sure, but guess what? It's almost dealt with. It's almost been dealt with already, and they're probably going to get a tremendous lead as well on this objective. Bat is just easily dodging 2 abilities. He is too slippery to get caught. I'm loving this play by Bat up to this point.
Bad backs up. He doesn't want to get himself caught anymore. It is currently 2 kills to 4 in favor of KT, and they have a slight experience lead as Timeless moves into assisting cleaning up this fallen Shaman camp.
All right, and with those many efforts, these many cooldowns also being invested onto the gank on Bad on Malthael, I think the lead for KT is almost too high to being caught up here. Yep, SPT, they're going to have to retreat here for now. They don't even get the kill on Leoric. Kiaru is still doing mighty well here. And if Kudos top plays this well, guys, I think they're actually going to be able to not only get a couple of towers in level 13, but also the fort.
Interesting that if a Living Bomb is attached to a Shrine minion, and the boss is the Punisher is captured then the Shrine Minions disappear and the Living Bomb does not explode. It just disappears.
That's indeed quite interesting. Misaka in trouble, gets slowed, gets to safety. Okay.
Ate every hit in the ate everything basically, but they were unable to finish the job there. Stays alive for the moment. I am still quite surprised. You already mentioned it earlier. I am really surprised about that stage dive over Mosh Pit.
Still, what I'm also surprised about Tetra right now is how little KT got out of his objective. Once again, they decided it was better to try to go for a gank rather than pushing as a 4- or 5-man unit with the Punisher. I mean, true, Punishers after 9 minutes and 40 are not really in their strongest shape just yet. Oh, look at that long Wraith Walk. Still not enough, though. The entirety of SPT, with the exception of Thrall, wanted that kill. But yeah, I would have preferred them to actually push with this objective, right? Look at that. Even the towers are still standing. It's been something I was criticizing yesterday with KT. When they won an objective, they couldn't capitalize on it. And it looks like right now they're falling into the same kind of trap.
So now, Bad cleans out the lane, while SPT make the most of that chase on Leoric they got, and they're actually going to kill off top fort. Response in kind by KT. They're going to try and move down into bot and take that out as well. With these Impalers, it should be done.
14 is here. A fort has also been destroyed. On the fort, on the side of KT. Oh man, the nostalgia. Look at the E-Star banner. Those were the good old days of China. Still cool to see that this banner is still in the game and owned by a couple of people.
I mean, I run it a lot.
Nice.
My Valet will never be changed from E-Star, I think.
Which skin are you normally rocking with it?
I run the blue Demon Hunter, the blue Van Helsing style skin.
Sweet, good choice, good choice.
With the like level 1 epic Hero League reward. Sorry, the first season epic Hero League reward, like the lightning wolf that you can get. So everything is all blue and wonderful with an E-Star banner, and it's the best. That's never been changed. It's out of respect.
Chat, feel free to drop your verdict on that Skinergy combo from Tetra on a scale from 1 to 10. How good does that look?
I will tweet out a loadout after this after we are done today.
Nice, I can't wait to see that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 15 to 14. Not a whole lot has happened in the meanwhile. Of course, both teams trying to gear up for that next Shrine phase, trying to keep those lanes clean. Let's actually take a look at the minimap and check structural progress. Not a whole lot has happened here either. The bottom fort is looking pretty battered already on the side of SPT, and that might actually be an opening KT could try to exploit, you know. And the moment SPT rotates towards the top lane to try to get that shrine, they could actually start a 4- to 5-man push and get some structural value without even getting the Punisher.
Misaka sees that's happening again, but sees that 2 people are here this time and decides against it. As Lucky finishes off the Fallen Shaman camp in this top lane. So it's going to be a camp for a camp, very simply.
Yeah.
As the objective spawns. So these are going to be pushing directly to where all the heroes are. So these should get cleaned up pretty quickly, especially with the amount of wave clear these teams have.
Yeah, this is going to be a spicy fight here, guys. 16 is about to hit for SPT and KT. They just need a little longer here. They don't have anyone split soaking in the middle or bottom. So both teams have fully rallied here. And it could be SPT who are actually about to turn on the heat first with that talent advantage. So KT, while they're not just letting these, KT, Lotus is in a lot of trouble. I was going to say, while they don't just let it go, great save by Gareth for now, but Leoric gets a faulty.
Lotus taken out as well in the backline by Soap as they just get wrecked. SPT rolling over them this time with that beautiful salvo followed up by a wonderful follow-up engage. SPT, they take the fights, they take the kills, and they're likely going to take the Punisher. Let's see it again.
Unfortunately, this replay is actually a little too far in already. I would have actually liked to watch KT's Lotus's movements before that play happened, right? So they lose Kalthus. He was too far up there, and as a result, not even all the efforts of Alex Rasa can save Malthael there either. So now it's going to be a pretty tough defense. Maybe they're going to try to reinitiate here. Look at Phoenix. He's still on the shrine. Can they make it happen?
One-man Umbral bind, but it was on Leoric who just Wraith walks out of it as Thrall takes all the damage. Finally, they're able to get a decent fight. Lucky, lovely dodge onto the Groundbreaker, able to get himself over that wall.
Tetra, 39. Okay, so at least they stopped the Punisher, right? That was a golden saving grace here for SPT because they just lost Thrall. They don't want to push into this 4 versus 5 into the defenses of KT, so they're using their global mobility very smartly here as well for ETC. He's basically played like a Dehaka up to this point, and just when Thrall is about to respawn, you know, or after he respawned already and goes for the top lane. They're going to then activate the shrine. They're then going to get the maximum value from it. But two sloppy plays. First of all, it was KT, you know, Lotus finding himself in an unfavorable position. And now it was Thrall who overstayed his welcome. They didn't even need to go in that far.
Misaka sneaks away. Thrall is back now, and even with that mistake earlier, they are all returning. They are all going to be available for this next Punisher push as they all need to rotate up the top lane. Now, how quickly are KT going to rotate? And how much can Misaka deny that?
All right.
They're just going to try and kill Misaka.
So are they just going to let this happen? Are they going to try to get some value in the bottom here? SPT that, KT that is?
Yeah, they were trying to kill Misaka. They were trying to port back, but Misaka was just pressuring them. So they tried to kill Misaka, and that was enough to give them the chance to port back.
Oh, here goes the Maya engaged. So much brutal damage onto the backline of KT already.
Timeless is getting focused by ETC, who stage dived on top of him. In the meantime, Tormented Souls is doing some good damage to the backline. Leoric having a Wraith Walk with that ominous Wraith as we see Malthael get taken out, as is Leoric. And that is both of the bruisers now up to Garrosh, Kael'thas, and Alexstrasza to stop this core attempt from SPT.
The Dragon Queen is being used by TWT here. They're throwing everything in the basket. They want to hold this. A lot of damage now raining down onto SPT, but it is Garrosh falling now, and that leaves the core without a tank catcher. I think SPT, they might be able to punch through this.
They're trying to burn through. Slight misplay by Timeless there. He actually dropped a Wrecking Ball onto the target of a Living Bomb, which would spread to the entire team, but now the Living Bombs are in fact spreading as the core is dropping. Kael'thas is trying to carry this, basically. Vieb is trying to burn through the core. Leoric returns. Good march of the Black King as Phoenix gets no level 20 hit just in time. Indomitable Spirit, and SPT take down the core and take game number 1.
Tetra, valiant defensive efforts there by KT, but unfortunately they messed it up a little bit earlier when they tried to go for that pull, for that leash on the Punisher that